G'day fellas and welcome to a casted game. We are here on Hidden Valley, one of the new maps for Age of Empires 4, watching an absolute demon playing up against, well, a little bit of a snake. Now, I'll be honest, I don't know exactly who this player is in the north, but I do know a couple of things about him. Number one, he hasn't picked a purple when he's playing the Byzantines. So I guess let's get into it. Let's introduce our players and then I'll start with the scolding. Spawning in on the north side in the color pink as the Byzantines, we've got Jean Essacurs, who I'm just going to be calling our Byzantine friend. And on the south side in the color yellow, playing as Order of the Dragon, it is the one, the only, it is the Viper. He is back once again playing more Age of Empires 4, and we figured we might as well check him out and see if the snake can take down his opponent today. That is the question on everybody's mind because he's playing a civilization that many consider to be a little bit on the weaker side here. So I'm curious to see exactly how Viper's control is with this civilization. Of course, the Order of the Dragon, a variant civilization for the Holy Roman Empire, currently considered to be the weaker civs, as you would have seen on Beastie's recent tier list video. He has well and truly put them down at the bottom side of the things. Byzantines, however, actually rank them quite high, and I do like this. I think the Byzantines have come quite a long way. You know, that 50 stone that they got not too many patches ago really did actually help them out. But have a look at this. Both players scouting their respective sides, bringing in a single sheep each. This is so typical on this map. I don't know about you guys, but I've actually banned this map when I'm playing ranked, and I was actually playing some rank today. So big shout out to Sam. So I play rank on another account, but Sam managed to figure out that it was me, and in the lobby he's like, "Oh my god, is it really you, Drongo?" I was like, "Hello." So shout out to you, Sam. I don't know if you're watching this video, but I'm sure you probably are. So leave a comment down below, and everybody likes Sam's comment because I'm sure you will comment. Sam, I am proud of you. Anyway, let's get into it because what was I going to say? Right. Oh yeah, this map. I don't like this map. Not a fan of this map. It's, you know, we've seen Viper play this map before, and very much what happens on this map is you are committing to one side. And if your opponent commits to the other side, then very much it can be quite unforgiving, just simply because it's so hard to get around it. You know, if we were to say, you know, let's pretend like we're playing Dry Arabia. What's different about that map compared to this? Well, you don't have this giant cliff in the middle that's stopping you from getting to the other side of the map. And that's the big issue with this map, is it's very unforgiving. So you do definitely have to commit either to defense or offense, and then that really is it. You can't go any other way for it. But let's check in with our Byzantine friend in the north and see how he's going. It's going to be the Hippodrome coming down for him. On the other side of the map, we did see Viper putting down the Minework Palace a little bit earlier. Second town center by the looks of it. No, it's only the two TCs for now. The two TCs. Only the two villagers coming out for the mining camp for now. So probably not that second TC just yet. Hippodrome coming up slowly. Only the three villagers. A lot of transitioning vills, of course, for anybody who's new to Age of Empires 4. The Byzantines are one of the most complicated civilizations that there are. And one of the reasons why is because you do have to move the villagers around quite a little bit in the early game. There's a lot you got to do as this civilization. Compare that to, say, like the French as an example, and it is just a completely different ball game. The thing I love about the French is it's like, okay, 8 vills over to food, 4 vills to gold, 6 vills to wood, and then I'm going to age up with 4 vills from food, and then I'm going to rally to... It's super duper easy compared to the Byzantines. Byzantines, you know, it's not... You don't just have to have a PhD for the Byzantines. That you need quite a lot more than that as well. I don't want to go into it. It's you need a fair bit to play that civilization. It's complex. But Viper, going to be looking for that age up. We do see the mill has been thrown down on the berries with the wheelbarrow on the way through here. Of course, the wheelbarrow, quite a good technology here for the Order of the Dragon. It does increase their carry capacity by a little bit more. If I remember correctly, it increases it by 7. No, it also just increases their carry capacity by 5. Why would it increase it by 7? What am I thinking right there? I can't remember what I'm thinking or where that's coming from. But anyway, we'll move on from it. Viper now throwing down the stable. Now keep in mind, he hasn't scouted what his opponent is up to. He knows roughly where his opponent is, but he doesn't see anything. You can see from Viper's vision right here, he's got no clue. But he will suspect that his opponent is going for a cavalry opening, just because it's the most common thing that you see coming out of the Byzantines. Of course, we know that they are likely to go for the Hippodrome, so it's probably going to be cavalry. So it doesn't really make sense going into archers here for the Viper, just because it's you know, it's kind of like the natural thing that the Byzantines do. Though we are starting to see a little bit of a switch up, though. We've seen quite a bit more Grand Wineries coming out recently. Scout making its way across the map here. The first of the units going to be coming out shortly for the Viper. Both of these players now with horsemen in the queue. One of them, however, is gilded. The other one, not so much. Third, Cistern now starting to come down on the backside here, and have a look at how many villagers we've got on this. Stone outcropping quite a bit here. First horseman out, second horseman now coming through as well. Does have expilatores on the way, so we'll be looking for those early connections with enemy villagers. Scout spots out that second horseman. Gilded horseman also going to be able to chase away the first of the horsemen. Keep in mind they've got an extra little bit of health here, double the health in fact, and quite a bit more attack. So should technically be doing pretty well here. I suspect it should absolutely destroy this fight, except for the fact that he's got the Hippodrome, which of course is going to change everything completely, and will force him to fall back at least for the moment until reinforcements do inevitably arrive and that Hippodrome buff wears down. But now back on the other side of the map, we're right on board with the Viper. Doesn't really look like he's thinking about castling at this point. Horseman number starting to rise. He's up to 2 himself with a third one in the queue. We'll begin looking to try and make his way towards those enemy positions. Viper's got to be really careful here about losing villagers, because it's kind of like playing against the Mongols. Not only do you risk losing your villagers, but you also risk giving your opponent resources. With the Mongols, they've got that bounty by taking out units, or rather buildings, whereas here for the Byzantines, if you lose villagers to them, you are going to be giving them over some gold. So you've got to be very careful about how you play and making sure that you're keeping keeping track of all of your villagers, and just making sure that everything is safely protected. So some nice walls up early on would be very, very helpful here for the Viper. Maybe an outpost or two. But other than that, he does have the wheelbarrow in, which will mean he's got faster villagers, and of course he does have the dragon villager, which has a little bit more health than the average villager, so they will survive a bit longer as well. But now, Gilded Horseman moving up to the top side. Our Byzantine player has no clue about this position, and on the other side, he's going for a counter raid. It's going to be one villager. Will he be able to find the kill? Indeed he does, and falls back away from it. Those berries going to be off limits, at least for the moment. Now, fortunately, he hasn't put the Grand Winery on top of it, so it's not going to be a huge loss here. But that scout does spot out the Gilded Horseman running along the north side. Fortunately for our Byzantine friend, looks like it wasn't spotted on the other way back, though. So Viper is going to be clueless, absolutely clueless, as these horsemen make their way on the top side. More upgrades coming through for the Viper. Have a look at this. He's looking to pick up all of the early upgrades. Double broadaxe on the way through. He's picked up already specialized pick. And of course, now that second town center has been discovered. The Byzantines looking strong in this early game. Double TC. Triple system, but have a look at that. That's one villager. He's caught them in the berry bush. 2, that's going to be a third villager. You're stuck. Oh, you hate to see it. He called for Stepbro, but unfortunately Stepbro had run to the town center where it's a little bit safer. So 3 vills already going down early on for the Viper. It looks like Viper may have managed to pick up another villager on this north side as well. Quite a bit of action early on for both of these players. A distinct lack of spearmen for both of them as well. One thing to note, Viper now going to be working down that mining camp, and the question's going to be castle age. That is the big thing on everybody's mind now that we reach this sort of late, well, not even late, but sort of early. We're still kind of early in the feudal age, maybe even mid-feudal, I'd say. But now it looks like the barracks will come down. A single spearman will be more than enough to push this back. Meanwhile, on that top side, the Viper are going to be looking to siege down the mining camp as well. Interesting to note, we've got barracks coming out from both players, so Lametanite could be on the cards here for our Byzantine friend. But Viper looks well and truly ahead when it comes to that castle age timing, so very well done by him, and it feels like he's definitely in control. It's really important when you are playing your games to try and maintain control, to have a plan and try to stick your best to that plan as much as you can. So in this situation, the Viper's plan might have just been, I'm going to go to castle or to feudal age, I'm going to go with the mine work, I'll get my ranged armor, I'll put down a stable, get a couple of gilded horsemen out, and then I will go castle after that. And then, you know, maybe I'll go into knights, or I'll go into men-at-arms or something like that. But at this stage, he's maintained pretty solid control here. Compare that to his opponent. While they've definitely managed to do well with the second TC, and a lot of farms are starting to come down around this this second town center, you can definitely feel like that he has lost control of the gold, and that is a big problem for him. He'll need to try and regain control of this gold, because without having this gold, you are going to be limited on your age up. The Viper on the other side has somewhat lost control of his gold, but we do see now with the Spearman out, he should be absolutely fine. Keep in mind, Viper's Gilded Horsemen are much stronger than the Horsemen of his opponent, and naturally should be able to command quite a bit more of a response coming in from the Byzantine player. Naturally, the second town center will be a little bit slower to age up to the castle age compared to that 1 TC. It looks like we've also got the mercenary house that is now coming through. It looks like he's going to be moving into the longbowman out of everything now. Up against the Order of the Dragon, does that make sense? I mean, you've got the Lench Connect, would probably... I think this is probably the right call coming out from our Byzantine player. But one of the big things, one of the elephants in the room at this stage, because keep in mind, he won't be able to go into the elephants, it'll be the Streltsy instead. It's that castle age coming from the Viper. Now, depending on how many relics he picks up here, depends on how well this game goes for him. One of the things I often talk about when I'm coaching over on my Patreon, which if you'd like to check out, I'll leave a link in the description. If you'd like to improve, you can check it out. One of the things I often talk about is if you can get 3 relics as the Holy Roman Empire or the Order of the Dragon, you're doing well. If you can get 4, you're doing great. If you do 5, well, there's probably a problem. Maybe you're a diamond player and you're playing up against a gold player, something like that. It's normally out of the question to get 5 relics, but it can happen. A little bit of a quick wall on the backside for the Byzantine player. Isn't going to be able to find the full connection instead. Looks like the Viper will be turning the tides here, forcing those villagers back. Fortunately, none of them do go down, managing to finish off that wall, but the Viper has now clicked that age up button. Regnitz Cathedral will be coming out here, and we'll ride on board with him as he begins to pick up these relics. The first one is going to be picked up. You can see it already doubling back over on that backside. Looks like the horsemen will be making their way back as well to support the Regnitz Cathedral and the prelates. Now we start to see those farms coming down. It definitely feels a little bit sour putting down farms without the Archon Chapel, but it is a necessity here for the Viper. Unfortunately, the Archon Chapel's just not as good as it is for the Holy Roman Empire. It just doesn't feel the same way. Gilded Spearman on the back here, looking to try and make a connection. You can see how much damage it does. It's absolutely ludicrous how much damage these spearmen do. Trying to chase away these horsemen. Keep in mind, he does have Triumph ready to go. At least it's called Triumph, right? Yeah, it's Triumph. I remember I used to have a bit of trouble with the name. I thought it was called something else. Anyway, it was another ability that I thought it was named. But farming economy looking pretty decent actually here for our Byzantine player. He's up a sizable amount of economic units. So he's up 15 vills at the moment, but there's some caveats to that. So the first caveat to that is that the Viper's villages are harder, better, faster, stronger. So, you know, put a 0.25 or 1.25 multiplier on that. So really we're probably talking about what, 38, 39, probably a bit more, maybe closer to 40 now. 40 villages versus 49. And the other thing to note is the Viper's picking up relics, and they're not just your average relics. These are your Regnitz Cathedral relics, the best in the business, baby. Second one is on the way back. Third one will be picked up shortly. We can see villagers heading out here. Gilded men-at-arms also looking to try and intercept any potential villagers that may be in play. But that's going to be 2. Now, keep in mind that even though there is a 3rd relic over on this north side and a 4th relic on the bottom side, the 5th relic is in the middle of the map. And this is something that really favors the Byzantine player, because typically this relic is not in this position. Very rarely it spawns down here. Sometimes it can, and this is one of those cases, and it really, unfortunately, affects the Viper quite poorly. So hopefully he's going to be able to recover from that, because, you know, an extra 180 gold for free for the rest of the game every minute, that's definitely a pretty big deal here. So hopefully the Viper doesn't get stuffed by the map too badly. We'll have to wait and see how it plays out. Byzantines looking good now as that age up comes through. We'll need to deal with this raid. The consequence of not getting this slight little wall, it probably would have cost him 30 wood, is that villager did go down. Now looking to try and chase away those Gilded Horsemen. You can see the numbers are really starting to build here. Gilded Men-at-Arms going to be coming through, looking for more and more damage on these units. We don't see any of the upgrades through just yet, but there's Bloomery on the way now. He's got the ranged armor online. Only a handful of ranged units at the moment, though. And now we'll check back in with the Viper, see how he's doing. I'm expecting an Imperial Age to come through shortly. One of the things that you'll be looking at is that at the moment, the Viper is at a significant deficit when it comes to his economic unit population. Now, of course, he's got the relics in the meantime, but naturally that is going to fall away as this second town center continues to produce extra villagers every minute. So what's the Viper looking for? He's looking for that Imperial Age. He's looking to get the Palace of Swabia up. It is really important that he gets this down early. The sooner you get it down, the better. One of the things that limits you from getting that, though, is going to be your food economy. But fortunately for the Viper, he's doing pretty well, sitting at about 1,100 food a minute at the moment. So really for him, it's about making sure he's got enough units to put pressure on the map, collect relics, but at the same time, enough units that he doesn't go too crazy with it. He wants to make sure he can age up quickly, and it looks like he's going for it now. Will shortly be on the way up. We'll check in and see how much does it cost. If we have a look here for the Viper, you can see it only costs 19.20 food. He's sitting at 18.14. He'll be clicking up in the next 10 seconds by the sounds of it. Where does he go? I think he probably throws it down right here on the front is the best spot. Normally on the wood lines is where you see the Swabias go down. Looks like it'll just be towards the front of the base here, so still pretty close to that wood line. And the reason why we want to put it on the wood line is just because when we put it on the wood line, the villagers have a very easy transition over to wood, and then from there, we can just pull them off wood and put them on a farm when we've got the resources for it. That's what part of the reason why we do it. But now, Viper will be tempting fate here. Some of them won't attack. Oh, what? 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 What happened? What? Please tell me you guys saw that. The Viper just forced his opponent to delete the... I'm so confused. It looked like... To me, it looked like the Viper was about to capture all the Byzantine units because the Byzantine units weren't attacking the Viper's relic. And so the Byzantine player was scared that they weren't going to be able to kill the prelate in time. So the Byzantine player had to delete his units. But the problem was, it was like they did a fadeaway where one of the hits actually made it to the relic, but he deleted anyway because he didn't think that he was going to be able to kill it in time. What? What the hell, man? I don't think I've ever seen anything like that before. That was just like a comedy of errors. If the Byzantine player had just attacked, like issued an attack move command instead of a move command, it wouldn't have been close. But then it was kind of close. That was all right. Viper just, I don't even know at this stage. Mangonel emplacement comes down here. Viper fighting up against the Mangonel emplacement. Men-at-Arms making their way through here. Crossbows are actually coming out here for our Byzantine player. Keep in mind that now that Viper is in the Imperial age, this is where he is online, but he's up against an absolute brilliant player here. Remember, his opponent is Conqueror 3. Significant advantage going over to him as the Byzantines here as well. Definitely a higher tier civilization, and arguably one that plays into the hand of the Order of the Dragon. Of course, the later the game goes, the better it gets for the Order of the Dragon, just because their villages are more population, well, probably more popular as well, but more population efficient. So what do I mean by that? Well, your standard villager takes 1 population. Your dragon villager also takes 1 population, but the dragon villager gathers faster, and it gathers much faster, which means that if you've got 100 normal villagers and 100 dragon villagers, you've got 25% extra production, or not production, but gather rate coming in off those dragon villages. So basically it means you've got 25% larger economy. But keep in mind, the Byzantines, they've got their own advantage when it comes to the late game. Of course, we're talking about the Olive Grove. One of the best gather rates in the game as well comes in from that Olive Grove because of the extra olive oil that you drop off. Now, he still doesn't have wheelbarrow by the looks of it. We're going to mill back here. Oh, God, you hate to see it. You hate to see it. You hate to see 18-minute 2TC Byzantine players not getting wheelbarrow, not getting horticulture. Please tell me he's got double broadaxe. Oh, yeah, I hate to see it. How are we... You know, you're up against the goat, you're up against the snake, you're up against a man who is many animals, one with 4 legs and one without legs, and you just start making mistakes. He's just going to force it, but speaking of mistakes, it looks like he ain't going to be the only one who does it, as today the goat unfortunately loses. Quite a few villagers there on the deer pack. He's got a couple more down here over to the south as well. Men-at-Arms get absolutely cleaned up in the Viper now. Going to be on the back foot. 51 military population up against 23 Byzantines. Looking strong. Gate needs to be moved over just so you've got that little bit of a more effective line. You can see the cataphracts are now out as well. Just trying to round down to this southern corner. The lumber camp will unfortunately go down. I mean, to be honest, it's probably not that big of a loss. Control now coming out for our Byzantine player as well. Beautiful walls in the north of the map will secure this, and now he's got quite an army. Where are the battering rams, though? Can we just quickly check in? Has he got a blacksmith? He does. Does he have siege engineering? He doesn't. He needs to look for battering rams here. They're wonderful. You need to try and be able to get through all of this production, because I tell you what, going into the base of the Order of the Dragon, it is going to be a very fruitless effort without siege. Longbowman looking to tee off here. Crossbow numbers still pretty decent. 11 crossbows. Not quite enough to one-shot your men-at-arms, but still pretty good. There's the emergency repairs coming through. The Viper's not forgotten just how strong that is. Just picking off one of the Gilded Archers. Viper, tough little position here on the defense. We start to see, looks like Hand Cannon is going to be joining the party here as well. Viper, you can see just how much difficulty is having with this spacing coming out from the Byzantine player. The longbows just able to really do a great job here, but that upgrade now coming through from the outpost will be enough to push him back, and I wouldn't be surprised if we start to see upgrades coming through for the Viper, specifically that fortification on the outpost, but at the same time on the other side, I feel like our Byzantine player needs to respond. There it is, the Charusophon. Definitely the way to go. I think I was talking about Rams earlier, so apologies for forgetting about the Charusophon. Now, one thing I read on Reddit, which is what you do on Reddit, I mean, I'm sure that there's probably some good applications that read you Reddit, so you don't technically read it, like you listen to Reddit. But Charusophons, expensive, not as good as Rams though. Mitigating returns, diminishing returns on Charusophons. So you want to avoid stacking them up on the same building. But anyway, we'll worry about that later as the longbows are teeing off towards the front line. Look at the men-at-arms as they try their best to just hold the line. Meanwhile, those longbows, they need to be looking towards the back here. You can see the hand cannoneers. These are the heroes of the day. The Viper is going to be looking to rely on these guys in the late game. You can see he's having a little bit of trouble here with the Gilded Men, or the Gilded Archers. Has he got that leather armor? He doesn't quite have that leather armor just yet coming in on those archers, but I tell you what, he's still struggling, or rather still overwhelming his opponent. Lenchkonek's also going to be coming through here, but those elite units coming in for the Viper, definitely going to be the hero of the day. Elite Gilded Men-at-Arms. Remember, these guys are just not your average Men-at-Arms. These are like double the Men-at-Arms, and Viper, with a very powerful economy, overwhelms his opponent on the defense. Now, the tables turn. His opponent, the Byzantines, yet to reach Imperial Age. Not really looking for it at the moment, kind of hovering about it. You can see he's going to be working towards that 5th cistern. Finally going to be getting it down over on the berries on the west side here. Has queued up a couple extra units in the military, in the mercenary house rather. It looks like he's opting for Lenchkonek. Probably the right call in this situation. I think they're going to be a bit more effective than the longbows, unless you can really get those longbows back on the hand cannoneers, but they do have a lot of health. That's what you got to really worry about, those hand cannoneers. They've got so much health, 250 health. And remember that when you're dealing with a unit that's got armor on top of that, it makes it extra difficult. But how did you sheep never get caught? Look at this, just 2 sheep just chilling out right now. You just gotta wonder. You just gotta wonder sometimes. How do they get away with it? He can't keep getting away with it. Sacred Site's being captured. That's the Viper now with 2. I feel like Viper's definitely in a decent spot coming into this late game. Have a look at the economic count here. Let's compare the pair. Looks like we're at about 4.5k for the Viper, compared to his opponent who's sitting at about 3.2k. So Viper with a significant advantage. Keep in mind he does have those 4 relics on the board. Cataphract numbers are starting to build here though. Keep in mind the Cataphract, it's one of those units that, you know, it's particularly good against the Gilded Men-at-Arms, but the hand cannoneers are going to absolutely shred it. So I think you've got to be very careful about committing to it. Varangian Guards are out in force though. Keep that in mind. He's got 9 of them out at the moment. Does have some gold on the north side. Distinct lack of gold income. Only 900 gold income at the moment. You can feel that the Byzantine player is fighting to stay alive inside this castle age. He wants to try and get to Imperial Age, but unfortunately he can't get there. He's only just got enough right now to throw down a keep. I think the best thing he can do in this situation is throw down a keep defensively and look to go Imperial behind that. From there, look to go into your elite upgrades. Look to get those elite Varangian Guards. It's going to be hard. You're getting pushed on this front. There's a lot of units here, but that is one of the ways that you can look to try and stay alive. Instead, he's going to opt to try and take the bull by the horns. Let's see if he's able to do it up against the bull, up against the snake, and most importantly, up against a man who will not give up and never surrender. It is the Viper up against the Cataphracts on that backline, looking to tear him apart. The Gilded Archers having absolute trouble here, as you can see. The longbows are just ripping them to shreds, together with the Cataphracts. That extra little bit of damage coming out from them, and a cleaning up of the Viper's army as it pushes in to the Byzantine player's base. We continue to see that seesaw of military numbers as the Viper pushes in to his opponent. He loses his army. Just minutes before, we'd seen the Byzantines push towards the Viper and lose his army. Now the question's going to be, will the Viper be able to extinguish the flame of the Byzantines when they inevitably push towards his base? Right now, Mr. Byzantine player, I'm going to give you a hot tip. Fall back, build a keep, and go Imperial Age. The Byzantine spike in the Imperial Age. You have so many advantages when you get to Imperial Age. Number one, you get precision crossbreeding, which stacks up with your olive groves. Really, really nice. By the way, looks like we've got ourselves some traders out. So that's number one. But number two is you've got really great landmarks in the Imperial. How did you get through here, Mr. Elite Gilded? Oh, no? I don't even know. There's a single... Has this guy just been here since the beginning of the game? I think he has. I remember this guy from earlier. This guy has been standing guard for the last 18 minutes. I'm impressed. I'm impressed. Sacred Site neutralized. Viper nowhere near that center just yet. Keep in mind his opponent probably about 2 or 3 trees away from it. And there it is coming in now. The Palatine School of Palantinians. That was close to Palestinians. No, it's the Palatine School. I wonder why they call it the Palatine School. There's got to be a region of the Byzantines that was near the Palatines. They probably... I remember I commented once. I was like, the Byzantines. What did the Byzantines call themselves? And I was like, was it the Byzantinians? And everyone just commented like, Drongo, they just called themselves Romans because they were part of the Roman Empire, and then the Roman Empire split. And then they were just like, we're Romans. And then in history, we were like, no, they were actually the Byzantines. That's what we're going to call them. Anyway, that's where we're at now. Feels like this Imperial Age could not come any slower. It is just taking forever. The Viper doing a good job of now looking to attack on that north side. Remember, I had requested specifically a keep on this south side, and obviously it wouldn't have done much, especially now that the Viper's pushing up with a bombard in the rear. The Imperial Age comes through. What upgrades have we got? Let's have a look and see. Our Byzantine player needs to start clicking buttons immediately. So now that you've aged up, you've got to look at your units, and what do you need? Number one, Elite Contract. He's going for it straight away. Looks like he's switched over to Dialecticus as well. Really well played here from our Byzantine player. On top of that, we need to see elite upgrades coming through. There it is. 6 seconds to go. Really, really well done. Looks like he's now going to be going for a couple of the villages down here on the ground. You can see that the units are struggling to get around that wall, but instead, the Mangonel, together with the Bombard, might be thinking about facing it off. The Mangonel emplacement comes through on that north side. We've got more units. A keep on the top side as well. Looks like emergency repairs not yet connected to it. Might need to throw a town center down there. Little bit of kiting coming through. Elite upgrades on those crossbowmen. They're starting to get their shiny little bows out right now. Have a look at that. Look at the way that they fire. Are these guys gangster or what? Have a look at this. They raise it up to their heads and they're like, fire! I think that's pretty gangster. That's definitely the medieval gangster. You know, I don't think these guys will be firing their crossbows sideways just yet, but we'll get it soon. Double bombard now coming out, and it looks like the Viper is going to be moving into that famed composition that we have seen for many years. Double bombard, double mango, double culverin, together with a whole bunch of infantry on the front. The Viper, he's only made a handful of cavalry units this game, a single stable, but have a look at this. Veteran Gilded Horseman. He's also looking to pick up the biology upgrade as well. The Viper, never count him out just because you think he's going for one thing. He switches it up. He's a bit sneaky. Mangonel shot. Oh my lord, that Mango outpost, man. I tell you what, I got to get some of that. I've been having like these Calypso mangoes, which I don't really know too much about mangoes. I will say that you get some big ones and you get some small ones, but the best ones are the ones that are kind of like this reddy orange color. If you can find a mango that's got like that reddy orange, almost a pinky color to it, oh, that's a good mango. That is a good mango. Viper now looking to push into his opponent. The wall gets deleted. Viper now up against an enemy who is intent on taking him down as the wall gets deleted. The Byzantines pop their triumphant charge towards the backline with the cataphracts. The Mangonel eviscerated in a moment's notice, in a single moment. But now those gilded archers coming out from the Viper. Look how strong they are together with the hand cannoneers. His opponent really struggling with this. Have we picked up the leather armor? He's got the leather armor on him now. They're up to 6 ranged armor. Double bombard in the back. The cataphracts have all been taken out. Those gilded men-at-arms doing a wonderful job, and it just feels like a distinct lack of production right now for our Byzantine player. He needs to be pumping. We just need to see Lamentinai spam at this stage of the game. Lamentinai are incredible. You just pump some Lamentinai at this stage, and you're having yourself a field day right now, but it looks like he's going to be opting for Cataphract instead. There's the Lamentinai coming out. Viper with the double bombard on the backside, trying his best to finish this game at this stage, but you can just see the distinct lack of units has gone for that wall, or gone to take down that wall on the south side. Now those bombards, he's using them as this long-range artillery on the unit, something that we often don't see coming out from him. But let's bring that UI back in. Let's check out where these military numbers are. The Viper at 83 military. Forward keep now coming on. Villagers being chased around. The Viper looking to absolutely take down his opponent. 29 minutes into this game, the Viper continues to push, but now we see those bombards will be going down. More reinforcements on the way. Plenty of keeps coming out for the Viper. He has not neglected his castles in this game. And now, towards that south side, more units going to be rallied in. The real problem that the Byzantines have right now is they've got no gold. And this is where the Lamentinai comes in. This is why you need to invest in Lamentinai. You can see the barracks are being thrown down, but I can't help but feel like JoJo's hit single from 2004 is just playing in this game right now. You know it's just too little too late. Look at the barracks at this stage. Like, you don't have the elite upgrade yet. You don't have your elite army tactics yet. These are really key upgrades that you want. He's going to try and keep himself alive, but just remember, at the end of the day, the Viper controls the gold. And as you guys know, he who controls the gold controls the world, the universe. In some universes, it's spice that you might control. But the Viper will be looking to control this game, doing a wonderful job so far. When it comes to gold, there is 232 gold inside the base of the Byzantine player, and that is it. Neglecting to throw a keep down on this north side has meant that he comes up empty now. We'll be looking to push out more elite gilded archers on the backside coming in to reinforce. It looks like we've got ourselves a Streltsy arriving to help out. Mango in placement, going to be doing a little bit of work on the defense. 3 Streltsy trying their hardest. More Lamentinai now heading towards that top side, but with the keep coming out, it looks almost certain that that northern position will be lost. And speaking of being lost right there, that's it, ladies and gentlemen. The game is called, and the Viper is victorious against his opponent, starving him off the gold and winning the game with an incredible Order of the Dragon victory. Ladies and gentlemen, make sure you check him out. I'll leave a link in the description. You already know where to find him, and we'll catch you guys in the next one. Thank you so much for watching.